Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Liezel joining us here live today on the show again as the owner of myteenlifecoach.com. Her and George joining us live on the Zoomcast. How are you today?
Oh my gosh, we are doing really well today. We're very happy for spring arriving. How about you?
I'm doing great. Thank you. Excited as well. Been some gloomy days here in New York, but the sun's shining today. You got some spring colors there in your outfit, your glow, and your bird.
Yes, right. Yeah, I decided it was time to start embracing spring. Even if the weather doesn't always want to cooperate.
Oh, how was the weather where you are?
Um, it's been a lot of
Perfect.
rain.
Oh,
Yeah,
really? Oh, okay.
lot of rain. Yeah, but not bad.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, great having you here. And would you mind
Thank
just
you.
telling us a little bit about the work you do and the people you help?
Yeah, I don't have my green screen up today because of what I want to talk about
No
today.
need.
But we are myteenlifecoach.com. We are professional teen and family life coaches. We specialize in teenagers and their parents or families in helping them just become more successful, get
Yeah.
through the teenage years, build some life skills, get some self-esteem going, and just learn how to navigate all of this. And so we're on all social media. You can always text us or call us at 770-235-8202. And yeah.
Great. And what is the topic for today? Tell us.
Well, today I really wanted to talk about authenticity, which is why I left my green screen down today. I was on another business call the other day, and we were talking about how parents and teens are really needing help from people who are experts at what they do, that they're not generalists, that they're actually specialists in what they do because of how the market is today. There isn't money just flying around and, budgets are tight and so forth. So we were really talking about how aiming to be the best at what you are and really honing in on that niche
Specific niche.
is really specific.
I was going to say niche, but is it niche or niche? I think it's both, but I don't even know. Okay.
It's the European and then the English, I guess, right? So I guess I wanted to just take the opportunity today, Jill, like normally you and I talk about a lot of cerebral things, but I wanted to just focus on, what makes this important for us as a company and why we really strive towards being excellent in that niche. And so I wanted to take the opportunity just to talk about how we show up, how we make sure that we are exactly what people are needing and how we meet them there, right? So how we deliver to it and how we show up for it. So because of that, I wanted to show you my office and what it actually looks like.
Beautiful.
And how I actually work.
Sorry, I'm just concerned. Is George eating your shirt? Are you okay? Is that normal? He's just nipping. He's not like physically biting. Her bird is on her shoulder, so I see him. He's not gnawing. He doesn't gnaw. He's just picking.
No,
okay. You would know best, but I'm like, I hope her shirt's not.
No.
By the end of the show, she's going to have half shoulder hanging off. Like,
no, you'll probably notice that she'll climb under my hair in a little while too.
Aww, I see her doing,
she just kind of, she kind of gets into this little grooming mode when she's on my shoulder.
But do all birds do that? This is just a special rare. Did you train her from birth?
I trained her this way. I got her when she was really, really young and she's always had a lot of human time. And she follows me around the house. If I leave my office, she'll fly up behind me. She'll shower with me. So she's like a dog, just in bird form.
Wow. And you don't have to take her out to a walk or to that's so much easier. Okay. Sorry to divert off topic. Love it.
No,
so beautiful office. You got a lot of dusting to do on the shelves every now and then. It looks beautifully clean today. And so there you said trust the process. And I
Yes.
can't read the other sign above, but I'm sure it's some type of inspirational go get it done quote. What do you have
Yeah,
in that hook?
exactly. So, you know, what I like my clients to see is number one, I'm informal, but neat and tidy.
Mm-hmm.
I love, you know, jellyfish is the logo, so everything
I
that's
see that.
blue and ocean and stuff. So that's what you'll see behind me. On the other side of the screen is plethora of plants. So I have like a little green oasis in my office. So that's I love plants and I love to play with them. And then of course I geek out on books all the time. So and then to my right is George's little stand. So when she gets
Wait,
tired
where?
of being on my right
Oh,
here,
okay, okay. I can't
like
see, but okay, okay.
yeah.
That's it.
So when she gets hungry or thirsty, she'll just flip over there and she'll go do her thing until she feels like she wants to. And then sometimes she'll actually sit on my camera and stare at me while I'm talking as
Does
well.
she, when does she sleep and how do birds sleep?
So they sleep normally. So she has a large aviary that she goes to in the evening, and that's where she has a little home, and then she nests and she gets in there.
You don't, so you have to put her like in a cage? Like you don't, or
Mhm.
do you let her, or does she like lay in bed with you? It seems like,
No,
um,
she has her own bedroom, her own
and do they
cage.
sleep standing up or,
She has a little like a little home. So she goes in there and she like fluffs up. She's got all little things in there that she, you know, settles in.
so cute?
Yeah, and she goes very quiet in the evening. So when the sun starts to set, she's just like a bird. She goes and she's like, okay, the sun is setting, so she'll go very quiet, and you won't hear from her for the rest of the night
Until you wake up or until she wakes you up?
until we
She
wake up. And then
waits
when
for
she
your
hears
cue.
you, yeah, when she hears and she's like, okay, I'm ready, let's go.
So cute, so cute. Sorry to keep diverting. I can't help
No,
it.
no,
When
no,
there's a
you're
bird in
fine
the
because,
shot, it,
well, the thing is, George is part of this, right? George is
mm-hmm.
part of our authenticity, and she is a very significant influence and personality in the business. It's part of what makes us authentic and different, you know.
True, for sure.
So for us to talk about her, for my clients who are listening, they're like, "Oh yeah, I know George. You know, she's not a stranger to the people that we work with." So yeah. So you know, when I decided to do this, Jill, I knew that this work was not a paycheck, right? This work is a calling, and in order to do that, you've got to take every day seriously, almost like you're going to church every
Okay.
day, you know. So like for me, it's to really be credible. Obviously there's the academics, there's the certifications, there's all of those things, but to continue to stay relevant, right? Yes, I got my degree like 30 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
but it's just the continuous, like what's new, what's different, that continuing education. So yeah, that's the check number one, right? Obviously being credible and credentialed and continuously knowledge building, and you know, I'm ordering books all the time because I'm a nerd, right?
Yeah.
My natural is that I am definitely a nerd. But then I think the second thing that makes this job so special for me is I love young people. I have such a passion for young people. I think about them all the time. I watch them in public and I'm curious about them. I laser focus on what are they wearing? How do they talk? What was the choice behind the hairstyle? How do they make friends? Like it's not something I have to study because it's my job. I'm just naturally very curious about it. We'll be walking in public and you'll find me like distracted by watching young people, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just something I've always been super deeply curious about. And so I am obviously curious about how do they navigate stuff? How did, like, I navigated stuff differently, you navigated stuff differently. How are they navigating stuff differently? And me being the observer from the outside in and
Mhm.
watching them interact with their parents and or how they order a boba tea, because boba tea is all the thing right now.
Is it? I don't even
Yes,
know. Okay.
boba tea is the everything right now. You have to have a budget for boba tea.
Okay.
And so, when I was kind of journaling about this today, I was like, I'm not just curious about them, but I deeply care for them as well. When I'm listening, when I'm watching, when I'm observing, I can feel my empathy moving out of my body and into their space to truly understand what their actual real experience is. And more so than I'm generally a caring person, but more so than with adults, more so than with babies. It's something about the teen space that makes me want to hone in on them so much. And then of course, it also helps that I birthed 3 of those teenagers that are in the world today.
Yeah.
So, I know they get very frustrated with me about it, but I naturally am curious about them. So, of course, I irritate them to high heaven because I'm constantly asking questions. I want to learn. I want to know. I want to.
They're like, Mom, you're just not cool. You don't get it. But you're
Right.
like, I'm trying to get it.
Right. Yeah. So I'm always like nerding out, geeking out on like asking like questions to their friends. And they were like, don't talk to my friends. So I'm just not just because I have 3, even if I didn't, I just have this very natural bent towards them. So I think, coming back to expertise and being excellent in it, there has to be this passion behind it, like true understanding for the very diverse realm of teenagers. You have as many fingerprints as they are all completely different from each other. They no cookie cutter to them. So, and then the other part that I am passionate about is I'm hell-bent on practicing being a positive adult role model in their lives. And I'm definitely not perfect. We all know that. We all know we have our stuff. But I work towards being that positive role model. It's a conscious decision that I make every single day, because it's as simple as I could just be sitting here in my sweats and my pajama pants, or I could shower, do my hair, get my makeup on, and display that role model part, right? So that to me is such a it's a value. I feel compelled to share in the doing part of why it's important for me to be a positive role model for them. And then at the same time, my own authenticity. So, when I have rough days, I tell them, like, it's always like, hey, how are you doing today? I'm good. How are you? Today's been rough.
Yeah.
I will.
See, and I froze. I saw myself froze, and then my camera just went.
You just
Hold
left.
on.
You left.
Speaking of rough, I saw a frozen Jill sipping her coffee, and then is it back? And I hit it to come back. Hold on. There we go.
Hey, I spoke it into existence. Yeah. So if it's been a rough day, I say it's been a rough day. If I didn't sleep well, I'll say I didn't sleep well. But I work hard to be authentic about it. Yes, it's been a rough day. Yes, I didn't sleep well, but I'm here. I'm showing up. I'm here completely for you. So it's again part of that positive role model thing, so that they can watch and learn from somebody else. And it's like, oh, I could have a crappy day too, but still show up, right?
Yeah.
And then I wanted to talk about how I prepare my day, because a lot of people, when they interview me, they're like, how do you prepare yourself for each client? So I was like, okay, let me just say it out loud. So every single day I go to a ballet class in the morning.
Oh my goodness.
I'm still a ballerina. I still dance, and I go for my 2-hour class every single morning. I get nauseous. I want to throw up. It's, it's like, it's taxing and all the rest of it, but I do it. And then I come back, then I have my breakfast, then I get ready for work. Then I sit down and I prepare the notes, and I prepare my notes as a.
Wait, have you always continued the dance throughout when the kids were little as well? How did you do
Mhm.
that?
Jill, if I don't dance, I will go mad.
Yeah.
So for me, it is like, you know how some people, they just have to work out in the morning, or they have to have
Mm-hmm.
that cup of coffee in the morning or whatever.
Like
That's
you
what it
are.
is for me. Yeah. And even when I was pregnant, I was performing while I was pregnant still. They would have to switch up and change the choreographies and things on stage. There was one piece that they had to, it was a train station piece, and I was supposed to partner with somebody. And then, of course, I fell pregnant, and then we had to make the suitcase my partner. So I would just be like,
Dancing with
interacting with the suitcase. But yeah, it's such a grounding thing for me.
wow. Mm-hmm.
So I still do that every day. And then I'll get ready. And then when I sit down and I go over my notes about the clients that I'm working with that day, I zone in on them. Like, it's kind of like a spiritual practice. It's kind of like I close my eyes, I feel their spirit, I understand, like, okay, based on other sessions we've had, typically Wednesdays are rough days for them. So, based on that, and I'll just kind of go into that feeling with them,
Yeah.
so that by the time I'm in that session, it's like I am blank and I am open and I'm in their space. Now, there are days when, mom crisis happens here, or we have situations in my own family that are human experiences. Those are the days when I have to, like, really super work much harder to
Yeah.
make sure that I'm staying completely present. But if I don't, I will not serve that client with excellence. So I take that very, very, very seriously. And then I'll use George. Like, if I'm having a super rough day, I'll put George on my shoulder, because she will just somehow, she just makes me not focus so much on that stuff, right? So she actually doesn't just help my clients, she actually helps me as well when it comes to, like, those kinds of things. And so that's like, and then at the end of every day, if I don't shower, then all my clients are in bed with me at night.
I I shower the night before too, and my children. I don't believe in going to bed and making my bed dirty. I said that's got to be the cleanest space. You're
You're right.
spending all night there. And yeah, and to the point where, and as a mom, I've learned to save myself time. We don't even put, well, they don't put on, I do, put on pajamas, because it gives you more time in the morning. Because with kids, to pick out clothes, even if you pick them out the night before, they always want to change it. They never want to get dressed. So now I make them wear their clothes to bed. Now they're at the age where there's no more accidents. So it's like you're wearing what you're wearing. Even last week, you wore a dress shirt to bed because you had pictures, but it wasn't wrinkly. And I'm like, you're wearing it to bed. I'm like, you're not going to get up. And you say, yeah, am I fine?
That's
Good.
cute. Yeah, whatever it takes, right? But I will psychologically take my clients to bed with me if I don't shower it away.
hmm
So I don't want them in my dreams. I don't want to be thinking about
But do you
them.
wash your hair every day or no?
No.
Neither do I. Okay, good. Yeah, same here.
And it's tough because of ballet every day. So
Well,
that's
because
why
you're sweating, but then it's like
yeah,
it's not good for your hair to wash it every day. And it's
right,
like, who has the time to then dry it, then to style it? I
right.
get it. I get it.
Yeah.
Dry
So now,
shampoo, my best friend.
I don't do that. I just go up into the bun, you know, thing. I
So
just
cute.
I don't do that so much. But yeah, so that's like the daily routine is like I have to have that consistently I call it a rhythm, being a dancer, everything needs to have like a cadence and a rhythm and a beat. So I make that like part of my day. And then the fun part that makes me love my job is the keeping up with everything every day. So every day I watch TMZ, I watch what's the other one? Dish Nation. I look at what I look at all the magazines of fashion and like the iHeart Awards that were just on, and then politics and economics and pop culture and what are the memes and what's the latest like you have to
Keep.
understand their world and the parents' world, right? So then it's like being in touch with LinkedIn. What are the articles that are being posting there? What's going on in work life, so that when parents are talking to you and there's a lot of layoffs going on, you can understand that the parents are going through, oh my gosh, there's layoffs going on. So yeah, their stress is going to be high and they may not be as patient with their kids, So there's this whole other part of research that I will do around music and the new career trends and what kind of summer jobs do kids want, what don't they, what are the parent stresses, even the school cultures, like I'll talk to teachers and be like, what's tough for you in the classroom? What are the things you're working with kids? How does that compare to 10 years ago, et cetera, et cetera. That is so important because that's their context.
Yeah.
The context is not just sitting here on Zoom or, some of my clients I'll meet at Starbucks or whatever. But yeah, those are critical, right?
Yep.
And then at the end of the week, nurturing myself is critical. I'm radical about that.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's a massage or I sleep the day in or I watch 5 movies in a row or whatever it is, but I will radically take care of myself on my day off to completely neutralize myself so that, I recharge my batteries. And then the final thing that I do that I'm really attentive about is nurturing my clients. So what I specifically mean by that is I'll do Friday roundups. So I'll go back, check in with my clients from the week and say, all right, just checking in. How are you guys doing?
Yeah.
Or if it's a parent, I know it was a rough week. Are you entering the weekend okay? So those little one-on-one touch points are really, really super important, or like I just had a teenager who coached herself out.
Mm-hmm.
So now I don't have to see her every week anymore.
Wow.
And I was like, okay, I hope you're doing something to celebrate being proud of yourself, kind of just those little things. But that end of the week nurturing thing it also helps me because it helps me wrap things up too, right? And then you can kind of enter into that next week with a different mindset. So all of that together, if you put that in a little, bag with a little golden bow and stuff, and we can execute on doing that consistently, that is how I believe coaching, at least in my niche with teenagers and their parents, that is what makes transformation happen. That's what makes life different for them. And there's ripple effects. So these kids end up setting the example for their parents, and then they're busy teaching their parents, right? So we talked about reverse mentoring the other day. So it's like there is this beautiful ripple effect that happens. So if I am not responsible about it on my end, those ripple effects are not always going to be good.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Okay. So it's not just about getting up in the morning, sticking on your sweatpants and taking your tea and being like, okay, let's start, It's a whole thing. It's a whole thing.
Wow, I love it. I got to learn more about you today. I didn't know this much about you, and you're into the dance and your routine and all. And by the way, you started doing ballet when you were a baby. Tell me, you were how old?
Yeah, I was 3. Mm-hmm.
And this was when you were in South
South
America,
Africa.
South Africa, and
South
you
Africa.
at 3. Or do you do like point or like?
I still do point. Yeah, I need a new pair, so I haven't been doing it lately because
How do your feet hold up? I never did point. I did ballet, but I was mostly jazz tap. I stopped ballet, but I can only imagine how the heck. Ow! But no,
I don't try to be superhuman about it anymore. I just I'll do it if I'm in the mood or if it feels right, or if I feel particularly strong that day, then I'll stay 30 minutes longer at the studio and then I'll do it. But I'm addicted to point work.
Are you still performing as well? Do you do
Um,
shows too, or?
I was supposed to. I was supposed to perform in April, but I opted out for this one. So
Okay.
I'll probably perform again in the fall.
And do any of your children dance as well? Were they
Yes.
inspired by you?
Yeah. So my youngest one is, and my oldest daughter were both in dance magnet programs. And obviously, when I owned my dance studio, they were,
Of course.
part of that.
And
Yeah.
what, you have a son too, right?
Yes, and Trey, when he was
Did
younger,
he do it as well?
he did hip hop when he was younger. But then, he got into all the boy stuff
Yeah.
and baseball and stuff like that. Yeah. But they're all very musical, Trey learned how to play the piano by ear. So they do have that creative bent from all the generations, because my mom and grandmother were dancers as well. So
And where'd the musician piano, where'd that come from?
Is
Is that your side as well, or?
Yeah. So
Uh-huh.
there was just a lot of creative arts in the genes.
Amazing. Liezel Lane does it all. My goodness. Can we see any clips of you dancing anywhere too?
You can.
If I just Google you, like, do I look further at?
Yeah,
Okay.
there's YouTube. Yeah, there's stuff on YouTube. You can if you Google my name, you'll see me in there.
Oh my gosh. Okay. I want to see you. Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
of course.
Liezel Lane, myteenlifecoach.com. What's the number we can call and text?
770-235-8202.
Oh my goodness, beautiful. Thank you. And thank you, George, for being here and joining us. And just curious, okay, don't think I'm morbid, but what's George's lifespan? Like, how does that work?
Like 35 years.
What?
Yeah.
And how old is she now?
She is 10.
God bless. Oh my goodness. I was going to say that's
we're going to be old together.
another kid. Oh my goodness. And is she like that with everyone in the house, or is it just you?
She's like this with everybody. Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness. Oh my God. Beautiful.
She's a good girl.
Thank you for opening up today. More transparency from you. You're just an amazing soul. I really wish you lived closer. We'd be friends. Not that I have time to see you, to be honest, but I would see you every now and then, so
it's
soon.
Time. Yeah, we need to get that visit scheduled for sure.
I know. We will soon. I hope. You have a great day, okay? And
thank you, Jill.
thank you again. You too. Bye-bye, hon.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house.
And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned. This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.